Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel on finding your path to your best emotional and physical health. Again, my name is Erin and I'm here to help you on your journey to health. And if you like what you hear today, please hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up. And also please forward this information to anyone who you feel might need it and who would like to connect so that we can kind of get them the help that they need. So please, I want this information to get out as much as possible. Also, please download my free 5 videos on tips to finding your best emotional and physical health, which will give you some kind of an idea of the focus that will be moving forward as we do more and more videos to help people get healthier as they age gracefully. All right, so let's get into today's topic. We haven't talked a lot about some of these underlying things with cognitive decline, but I want to get into some of the foundational stuff. We had talked about diet, which of course very, very foundational for preventing cognitive decline and aging gracefully, but I also want to talk to you about the other essential thing is sleep, okay? So we need to talk a little bit about that. This one I think is really, really challenging. I have found a ton of people that have problems in this area. And so having problems with your sleep really just almost disrupts everything else and makes everything else more difficult, because if you're tired, you can't focus on how to fix your diet and you can't exercise and those kinds of things. So I really try to encourage people to maybe focus on their sleep as well as their diet is kind of the primary ones. Exercise is important, but they need to kind of get these two things in order first, okay? So the reason sleep is so important is because it actually is when your body clears the toxins, and it is when you do beta amyloid clearance. So beta amyloid is that thing that we're trying to get rid of, because as it builds up, those proteins build up, that's what partially will cause cognitive decline. So we kind of want to work on that and get that cleared up a little bit. So there's some things that you can do to kind of increase that beta amyloid clearance, such as sleeping on your side. So if you're already a side sleeper, you got that ready to go. So, that's one thing. If you're a back sleeper or a stomach sleeper, then we got to talk about that a little bit, because training yourself to do something different could be a challenge. Another thing to consider is whether or not you've had an oxygen deprivation, or you have obstructive sleep apnea. Even if you're not heavy, you can have sleep apnea issues. So we kind of want you to kind of consider that and maybe request a sleep study if you can. Your oxygen shouldn't drop below 96 at night, so sometimes you can get a little ready to wear oxygen sensor. So now that we've kind of talked about some of the underlying things that we might need to fix, let's talk about the 3 most important things that we need to do to actually make our sleep healthy. And there's a lot more to sleep than what I'm going to go over today, but I just wanted to give you a little bit about where we should start, and we can get into more details if you ask questions, and we do a question and answer session in a few days. Then we can go ahead and get into a little bit more detail. So just let me know what you want to know. So my top 3 things for helping with sleep are going to be: 1, set a schedule. You have to set a schedule to, a goal of bedtime and a goal of waking up. So even if you go to bed later for some reason, maybe you stay up watching a movie or something like that, which is an issue we'll talk about in a second, then you want to still set the same wake-up time. Even if you don't have a job, or you have a job where you work from home, or you have some flexibility, or you're retired, you should have a set schedule. And your body will actually kind of set that schedule for you. I've always found that when I go on vacation, I still wake up at the same time, even though I could sleep in a little bit more. And it kind of will slowly change, because then, after a few days of staying up late, because when you're on vacation, you do some fun things or whatever, then you'll slowly wake up later and kind of get around the same amount of time. And that's okay, but you kind of want to figure out how to get that 7 to 8 hours, because that's your goal, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Anything less than 7 can be detrimental to your health. Okay, so if you're already aiming for that, then you're doing pretty good. The other thing that I find pretty much a challenge for most people is TV. They have too much TV and things that kind of cause the melatonin to not be produced in our brain when they're trying to get ready to sleep. So getting something like a blue blocking glasses to help you kind of change the way your body is viewing the light could be helpful, because there's a lot of blue light that kind of comes from our screens. A lot of people will set your phones to that nighttime mode, which is supposed to block blue light, which can help some, but the TV won't necessarily do that. So you want to kind of get some glasses that kind of block that and to let you to kind of go to, kind of set the melatonin and go to sleep a little bit easier. I've always found that if I go to sleep with the TV on, because people say, oh, I need the white noise. Well, we can do a white noise machine, but it just wakes you up in an hour anyway, even with a sleep timer. I know that they say a sleep timer is going to be what works, but a lot of times when I've set a sleep timer, I'm going to sleep for a couple hours or maybe 3 or 4, but then I still wake up, so it still is not having enough melatonin to kind of keep me asleep. So that's one of the things to kind of consider. The other thing that is important is your environment. Okay, so your bed needs to be comfortable, of course, and sometimes that's a challenge when we go to invest in an expensive mattress. We want it to be comfortable, and you want it to be cool. It's surprising about how many people, struggle with getting hot at night. And then if you have someone that sleeps in your room with you, then it's like, okay, I'm too hot and I'm too cold, and trying to find that balance can be a challenge. So it's better to keep the room kind of cool, and then you can have a blanket if you need it. But you want to have the room about 65. So you want to set that to go, your heat to go down at night, or your air conditioning to go on, depending on the time of year. So those are some of the things that you need to kind of consider in your environment, as well as comfortable sheets, comfortable blankets, and those kinds of things that will actually help you. And you want your room to be dark, so make sure that there's not a lot of excess light, sound, and other things coming from other rooms, because if you do that, then you are going to disturb your sleep. So those are my top 3 tips on getting your sleep in order. So you want to start kind of working on those, and then we can talk about if there's still disruption, other habits that people tend to have. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today. Please subscribe, and also connect with me on the website and ask questions so I can go ahead and get those answered for you. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Thank you.